You know, folks always think the asphalt out here is just dead rock, just a flat strip of blacktop connecting point A to point B. But you spend 17 years pulling freight through the graveyard shift, and you learn the hard way. The road remembers. It holds on to the grief, the missing drivers, and the things that crawl out from the dark. I'm talking about Mark Coleman. The guy was a veteran, ran a pristine logbook, knew every mile of Interstate 75 like the back of his hand. But one humid July night, Mark found out that Uncle Sam's highway system has got some nasty little secrets. Gaps in reality that refuse to be mapped. He was hauling a heavy load of sealed machinery out of Detroit, the kind of run that just drains your soul. It wasn't that normal kind of sleepy. It was that bone-deep, heavy metal exhaustion where your brain starts syncing up with the rumble of your diesel. He needed to park his rig, bad. He needed coffee, and he needed it 5 minutes ago. And right on cue, that's when the sign popped up. Mark frowned. He'd driven this stretch 50 times if he'd driven it once. There wasn't supposed to be an exit here. He glanced at his dashboard. His GPS had completely gone tits up. Just a blank, dead screen. But when you're that bagged, a flashing sign promising hot grub and a place to drop your air brakes is a siren song. Mark flipped his blinker and took the exit straight into the twilight zone. The second he hit the off-ramp, the whole vibe changed. The fog rolled in so thick it looked like soup, and the temperature inside his cab dropped like a stone. We're talking freezing cold right in the middle of a July summer. He rolled into the lot, looking for a spot to drop his trailer, and that's when his stomach did a flip. The whole damn lot was packed to the gills. But not with regular drivers taking a 20. This place was a straight-up boneyard. Hundreds of identical rigs from the late 70s, rusted out, paint peeling, with their tires literally sinking into the cracked asphalt. And the windows? Every single cab had its glass painted solid black from the inside. They were parked in these unnervingly perfect geometric rows, like metal coffins waiting for a funeral. The whole place was dead silent. No engine idle, no highway hum from the I-75. Nothing but this weird, low-frequency vibration coming from the main building. The windows were pulsing with this sickening chartreuse green light. Mark knew he should have jammed his gears in reverse and hauled ass out of there. But his own engine started sputtering, groaning under some crazy, invisible pressure. It was get out or get stuck. He grabbed his keys and stepped out into the freezing dark. Inside, the place was spotless, but it was a total mindfuck. The shelves were loaded with snacks, but if you looked closer, it was like a bad knockoff of America. The colors on the bags were way too bright. He picked up a bag of chips that looked like Doritos, but the label said, Dortos, flavor of the forgotten. The ingredients listed stuff like sodium, time distortion, and high fructose guilt. That weird humming noise was getting louder, vibrating right inside his skull. Mark just wanted to hear a human voice to know he wasn't going crazy. Hey, anyone working tonight? Hello? His voice didn't even echo. It just dropped dead, swallowed up by the creepy architecture of the store. But someone did answer. Or rather, something. It stepped out from the back aisle, looked like a standard clerk, polo shirt, khakis, and a name tag that just said, Welcome. But this sucker was not human. He was easily 8 feet tall, stretched out like taffy. His arms hung down past his knees like a damn gorilla, and his head was a perfectly round, smooth ball. When Mark caught a glimpse of his face, he almost lost his lunch. The skin was too smooth. No pores, no lines, nothing. Just 2 bright blue eyes that didn't blink, and a mouth that was just a drawn-on line. It looked like a cheap computer-generated model of a human, like someone built a person based on a description, but had never actually seen one in real life. The voice didn't come from his mouth. It rattled right inside Mark's own brain, sounding like a creepy, glitched-out AI symphony. Welcome, Customer Coleman. We've been keeping a spot open for you. You're behind schedule. Our facility needs your fuel. Won't you check out our amenities? We have fuel, sustenance, rest, all, perpetual. Mark backed up real fast, knocking over a rack of Cokie bottles. He realized something terrifying. He couldn't hear his own heartbeat anymore. His pulse had locked into the rhythm of the pulsing green lights in the ceiling. "Nah, man," Mark stammered, his voice shaking. "I'm good. I'm hitting the road." He spun around to bolt out the front doors. Except there were no damn doors anymore. Where the glass entrance used to be, there was just a solid wall of that nasty, reflective green paneling. He looked out the side window toward the lot. And holy hell, the boneyard was waking up. Those blacked-out windows on the old rigs. Shadows were moving inside them now. Dead silhouettes sitting straight up behind the steering wheels, all of them staring directly at Mark's truck. They weren't trying to escape. They were already part of the graveyard. They were the suckers who had stopped for amenities 30 years ago and never left. "You can't check out, Mark," the clerk's voice rang out, getting louder and angry now. "Nobody leaves Route 9. You aren't a driver anymore. You're just new inventory." Mark didn't think twice. He ran. He sprinted through the aisles, throwing shelves down to slow that thing behind him, desperately looking for a back door. He busted through an employees-only door, but it just led into this crazy, never-ending hallway with a million identical locked doors. The geometry of the place was totally warped. That giant freak wasn't even running, it was just glitched, shifting through space, getting closer and closer, reaching out with one of those long, rubbery arms. Mark didn't escape because he was fast. He got out because this fake-ass reality had a glitch. He scrambled into a dark maintenance closet, and right there, hidden behind some old cleaning gear, he spotted it. A grimy, old-school red exit sign. It was flickering like a dying ember. It didn't make sense for it to be there, but nothing in this hellhole did. Mark lunged forward and slammed his weight against the metal push bar. The metal was burning, scalding hot, blistering the skin right off his palms. But Mark didn't let go. He threw his shoulder into it, fighting the very walls of that simulation. The door gave way, and Mark tumbled out into the raw, freezing night air. He hit the pavement hard, gasping for breath. He scrambled up and looked around. He was back in the lot. But all those rusted 70s rigs? Poof. Gone. Just his own modern 18-wheeler sitting there, idling quietly in the dark. The big truck stop building was still there, but the chartreuse glow was gone. It was just a broken-down, boarded-up, abandoned shack covered in weeds. No neon lights, no clerk, no nothing. Just a piece of roadside trash that had been dead for 40 years. Mark didn't check his blind spots, didn't check his tires. He just leaped into his cab, slammed the rig into gear, and mashed the throttle till he hit the sweet relief of the I-75. He checked his mirror one last time before hitting the county line. The off-ramp for Route 9 was gone. Just empty, fog-choked woods. Mark's still out there on the road today, hauling freight, but he doesn't do the twilight runs anymore, and he sure as hell doesn't take unmapped exits. He only pulls into the big, corporate truck stops. Love's, Pilot, TA, places with bright lights and real, breathing people. Because he knows what's waiting out there in the dark. He knows that the American highway system has got these thin spots, gaps where reality breaks down and something hungry leaks through. A place that pretends to be a truck stop just to harvest weary drivers. A trap waiting for the next tired trucker to take the wrong turn on the wrong night. So, if you're ever out past 2 a.m. and you see a sketchy purple sign promising a place to rest, you do yourself a favor, buddy. You keep that foot on the gas. Because some exits don't take you off the highway. They take you out of this world.